Today we're going to do various spiritual leaders and their Myers-Briggs types. I'll say off the bat, if you're an INFJ watching this, you're probably the only type that actually cares who yours is, so I put it at the end to boost that sweet watch time. We'll open it up with the big man, Jesus Christ. Jesus is without doubt an ISFJ. I think there's no real issue here. Love thy neighbor and all that. Jesus definitely maxed out his extroverted feeling function by taking everyone's sins for all eternity and throwing them on his broad, brown back. Next we got the baddest bronze bitch this side of the Ganges River. Buddha was undoubtedly an INTP. Buddhism starts with the TI judgment. Life is suffering. After this judgment, he went on an extroverted intuitive journey to gather information to back up his judgment. The religion is thus an extremely complex and philosophical, yet logically consistent system. Keep in mind the story about the disciple who asked Buddha the question of where the universe came from. He didn't even answer the question. Buddha, like any cringe, five-head INTP, can only speak when it's about the one niche thing that he's interested in.
This is big brain time.
Spirituality's two finest sages, the Tao brothers, Laozi and Zhuangzi, are the extroverted intuitive doms of the spiritual caste. Laozi is an ENTP while Zhuangzi is an ENFP. This is apparent in their contradictory, light, fun-loving approach to the big questions. Zhuangzi writes on the Tao through parables and the introverted feeling function to connect straight to the heart of his readers. Laozi takes a slightly different but similar approach by trying to fit his musings on the Tao into a coherent introverted thinking type of system. Confucius is an asshole who thinks he's the shit and he gets off on telling other people what to do. INTJ fits the bill pretty well here. Lists upon lists of rules and duties and a strict moral code make Confucius one of the most insufferable spiritual figures of all time, just as INTJs are by far the most insufferable Myers-Briggs type. And I know all of the INTJs that just heard that are like, yeah, we know. Following up, we got Sun Tzu. It's a known fact that the average CEO doesn't really read books, but you'll be hard-pressed to find one without a copy of The Art of War on their shelves. I think it goes without saying that Sun Tzu, like his modern-day CEO brethren, the warriors of late capitalism, is an ENTJ through and through, a master tactician with an eye for larger patterns. Abraham's a tough cookie to type, and that's because he's boring. He unthinkingly obeyed God, was pretty hospitable, and it was his duty to spread his seed to the land. For those reasons, I'm gonna go with ESFJ, because spreading seed and being hospitable are the only things that they know how to do. Bodhidharma, the steely-eyed, hairy-chested traveler from the West. If he was alive today, he would have rolled up to China on a motorcycle to transmit Chan Buddhism while puffing on Marlboro Reds, a Jack Kerouac book tucked into his back pocket. Bodhidharma is an ISTP because none of the other types would be able to entertain themselves staring at a wall for 9 years, except maybe the intuitive feelers, which brings us to... There's not too much to say about Dogen, but he's an INFP, and that's because he liked writing poetry so much. The Vedic boys made up the Vedas, but instead of writing them down, they forced the poor oppressed Brahmins into passing that shit down orally. The mad lads had to make up whole dances and head bobbles to make sure they passed everything down perfectly, often training for decades. Insane. Clearly, the OG Vedic boys were ISTJs with a sadistic streak, devoted to the tradition and execution of introverted sensing and extroverted thinking. Mozi was very complex, misunderstood, and deep. A lot of the time, he probably felt like a misfit. Just kidding. I don't know if that's true, but His teachings emphasized introspection and self-reflection, also universal love, sharing, and social order. A martyr of sorts, many Mozi classics were burned down during the Qin dynasty. Mozi was a total empath, just like the Myers-Briggs rarest type, the INFJ. If I missed your type, sorry. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do another one. Don't subscribe, don't like the video. I'm just gonna keep doing what I want.